Hi there, I'm meteorologist Chita Craft. Tropical Storm Erin just developed the latest information from the National Hurricane Center. It is a tropical storm, notice just off the coast of Africa, close to the Cape Verde Islands. This is expected to continue to move just west. Now, in this case, it remains as a tropical storm maybe over the next 2 to 3 days before intensifying to a Category 1 hurricane, potentially late Wednesday or early Thursday. Notice right now, the forecast track has this becoming a major hurricane by the upcoming weekend. Right now, a Cat 3, potentially by Saturday morning. Notice right now the track has it remaining just north of Puerto Rico. We will be carefully watching that. I know some of you are taking trips, planning into the Caribbean or potentially Puerto Rico. I know Bad Bunny has his concerts going every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday through the summer. Let me show you the upper level steering currents and the reason why I do think this track is going to just stay north of Puerto Rico because of this area of high pressure. So this is basically right over Bermuda. You get clockwise flow around an area of high pressure. So the upper level steering currents want to take this energy and hug it around that area of high pressure. So as long as that stays in place, I think this will stay just north of the Caribbean and remain in the open waters of the Atlantic. But that is what I will be watching very carefully through the rest of the week and into the weekend. After Erin, if you're keeping track of the names, will be Fernand. That will be the next name on the list. And we will see. There does look like there could be a wave even behind Erin that could become our next tropical storm. Statistically, we are right on track. Typically, June and July are fairly quiet months, which is what we've seen this past summer. And then once we head into mid-August through mid-September, that is when hurricane season peaks. The official day of that is September the 10th. So today is August 11th, and notice how we are on the climb. The Atlantic Basin is becoming a lot more active. You can keep it right here at KHOU. Hey, good afternoon. I'm meteorologist Chita Craft. Well, take a look. Live look at our radar. Right now, we are overall mostly quiet. We're mostly dry. But this is the thing. We do have these isolated pop-up showers and thunderstorms. And I'm going to just walk you around neighborhood by neighborhood here, right through your lunchtime hour. Again, it's overall mostly quiet, but you're going to see some of these towering cumulus clouds and maybe even some lightning strikes potentially off into the distance. Let me zoom into Montgomery County. Here's Panorama Village. Here's Montgomery. We've got a nice little shower right over FM 149 there. Notice just east of 45, we do have a few little showers. No lightning, not severe weather here, but that is already starting to weaken. I'll take you a little further southwest of the city. Here's Missouri City. There's Sugar Land. And notice this little downpour right over Highway 90. You know, where you see the red on the radar, that is where it's coming down pretty heavy. It can even be enough to reduce your visibilities at times. Here's Santa Parkway, right over Highway 6. There's a nice little shower for you. And then further north, Katy. Katy had a really strong thunderstorm just about 15 minutes ago. It's kind of rained itself out. Notice the lightning's completely gone, but we're still dealing with some rain right along Highway 90. So heads up from portions of Waller County, maybe hugging into Fort Bend County, you could notice a few showers. Now, so far this summer, it has felt like we have seen a lot of rain. What's interesting though, for the month of August at the big airport, this is at IAH, we've really only picked up 1/10 of an inch. Normally, we should be over an inch of rain so far, even by the 11th. So we're actually about an inch below average just for the month of August. So far for 2025, we're about 3.5 inches below average. So we actually still need a little bit of rain, even though this year, notice we've seen 26.5 inches of rain, which is a decent amount. We're still 3.5 inches below. Right now, live look outside. So a mixture of clouds and sun pretty much across the city. Galveston seeing blue skies right now. A beautiful shot there in Galveston. Over Herman Park, pretty nice into the Med Center. Notice visibility is not a problem. No active rain, but it was raining hard earlier today. Temperature wise, we are already climbing and pushing towards 90 degrees. This is at Bush Intercontinental Airport. There's 90. Hobby Airport at 88. Sugar Land at 84. But it's the humidity. It's the feels like temperature. We know that. And boy, it's thick today. So the actual air temperature at 90, feeling like 97 at IAH. 88 at Hobby Airport, feeling more like 93. 84 in Sugar Land, feeling like 93. So in some cases, we're factoring anywhere from about a 7 to a 10 degree difference when we're talking about the humidity. So even though the actual air temperature right now, 80s to low 90s, it's the feels like, look at IAH almost closing in at that triple digit point. So Even with the rain, it is still very hot and very humid here for your Monday. Let's go through our future tracks. So 4:30 this afternoon, notice how some of these showers and thunderstorms become a bit more area wide. So you can think of this as a quick quarter to a half inch of rain, but see, isolated spots could pick up about an inch of rain, and that's in a short period of time. That continues until maybe 7 o'clock this evening. Even a few of those thunderstorms could create frequent lightning, maybe some gusty winds, and those brief but heavy downpours. Now, after 8 o'clock, that's it. We actually stay dry and quiet, I think, for the most part overnight, with maybe the developing chance for an isolated shower to an isolated thunderstorm around noon tomorrow. But notice what happens by 5 o'clock. Widely scattered showers again. So every single day this week, we're going to be tracking the chance for these daily downpours. We quiet things down Wednesday morning. So if kids are back to school for tomorrow, I think Tuesday and Wednesday, a big part of the day is dry. But then by the afternoon, yeah, these showers and thunderstorms start to ramp up. That's 4 o'clock Wednesday afternoon. You're going to need your umbrella. So what I would do today, grab the umbrella, throw it in the car, keep it in there pretty much for the rest of the week, and that way you will be prepared. Now, the overall flood threat is really low across the area, but in Matagorda, Brazoria, Galveston, and Chambers County, even now portions of South and East Harris County, under that marginal risk for a brief high water spot. So don't completely let your guard down. You know, when we get these thunderstorms that produce heavy downpours, quickly you could see a high water spot, but it's usually quick to recede as well. So again, not an overall flood threat, but a quick high water spot will be possible. Beautiful shot in Galveston right now. I love this on a day where we have blue skies. Look at Seawall Boulevard, just packed out there. I think a lot of people soaking in their last couple days of summer, maybe before they head back to school. But beautiful shot. Now, this is the thing. Even though it's beautiful right now, I am expecting the chance for new development or redevelopment of some of those showers and thunderstorms, just like what we saw this morning. Very capable of seeing that later today. Winds are overall out of the east, between 5 to 10 miles per hour, but within some of those thunderstorms that develop, we could see some briefly gusty winds. So just be prepared in case that quick thunderstorm does develop. Your hour by hour planner, come 4 or 5 o'clock, that's when I think some of those thunderstorms will fire up. Not one particular time today is a washout, but it will produce maybe some rain cooled air at times. And that's the only break of the heat you're going to get. So if you do catch that little shower, lucky you. Pollen, not bad. All my allergy sufferers, this one's for you. Grass at low levels, your mold spores at moderate levels. Not even popping up is the ragweed and tree. That is the good news. Now, future feels like temperatures. Notice if we're tracking the chance for a few thunderstorms, that's when you get that brief rain, cooled air. We spike though, once we take the rain away, that's when temperatures can be feeling more like 100, maybe even 102. Then by the evening hours, that continues to drop. So overnight lows in the 70s, but still feels like temperatures more in the 80s. Check of the tropics for you. We had Tropical Storm Erin develop just before 10 a.m. this morning. Expected to remain a tropical storm today and for tomorrow, potentially gaining strength as a Cat 1 hurricane as we get into the midweek by Wednesday, and then continuing to gain strength and organization this upcoming weekend. A possible major hurricane that's a Category 3 or higher. Right now, the track wants to stay just north of Puerto Rico, but boy, this is getting close into the Caribbean. So we are carefully going to monitor this the rest of the week. Let me show you what I'm watching. So remember, Tropical Storm Erin, highlighted this, putting this into motion as it moves west. The upper level steering currents, it's this area of high pressure right over Bermuda. You get clockwise flow around an area of high pressure, so could potentially grab this energy, grab that moisture, and that's what's going to kick it just north of potentially Puerto Rico. But it'll be close. I think by Thursday and into Friday, we're going to have a much better handle on what we can expect out of Tropical Storm Erin as we get into the upcoming weekend. But if any of your plans have you potentially heading to the Caribbean or Puerto Rico this weekend, carefully watch this. We will be updating this every single newscast, weather hit over the next week or so. If you're following along with the names for our 2025 Atlantic Basin, notice Fernand will be the next name on the list. because we just checked off Aaron. We already had Dexter. So again, for now, will be the next name on the list. Statistically, we are right on track. So the months of June and July were calm, and they're supposed to be. That falls right in line with what the Atlantic Basin typically produces. Now, because it's August 11th, and I typically say hurricane season really spikes for the Atlantic Basin mid-August through mid-September, this is when we really start to climb. And that's what we're expecting. Even after Aaron, there looks like a wave could develop pretty quickly even behind that one. So the actual peak of hurricane season is September the 10th, but it's going to be a pretty quick warm up after today. So think mid-August through mid-September. You need to keep your guard up for hurricane season. A lot of you have been asking about the heat. So far this year, we've only had really 2 triple-digit days. That is not bad for our summer months. It does look like, though, this weekend, so getting into Saturday and Sunday, and then through next week, temperatures are expected to climb above average, and that's going to be the case for a big part of the country. Notice all these people going to see above average temperatures, and it looks like our rain chances will drop. So even though every day this week we have these daily downpours, I think as we get into Sunday through next week, we dry things out, but boy, do we heat things back up. So we've had, several days of rain, consistent rain, and I think by the weekend and into next week, that starts to change. And that's actually what our 7-day forecast shows. Notice this afternoon, we go temperatures into the mid-90s. There's the 50% chance for some of those scattered afternoon downpours. Once that starts to drop a little bit, notice rain chances down to a 40% chance Tuesday, 30 Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures start to climb a little bit as we get into Friday and Saturday, just about the same, but it's Sunday. That's the beginning of that big heat dome, that ridge of high pressure that's going to build in. That'll limit the rain chances as we get into next week, but it's really going to start to build our temperatures. So even by Sunday, I have us at 99. That could easily be 100, and that may be kind of the same even as we get into next week. All right, we'll keep you posted right here at K.